Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Galaxy Channel. Tonight we are going to sit with a strange little question and turn it over in our hands until it stops being frightening at all. The question is this: why is Europa the most terrifying moon? And already there is a puzzle hidden inside it, a small paradox to loosen your thoughts, because the word terrifying and the word Europa do not really belong in the same breath. Europa is a moon of ice, smooth and pale and rounded, no bigger across than the width of our own moon, drifting in slow circles around the giant planet Jupiter. It is one of the most peaceful-looking objects in the whole sky. And yet people call it terrifying, and there is a reason for that. And the reason turns out to be the most reassuring thing of all. Because what frightens us about Europa is simply how much it hides. Beneath its bright frozen shell there is a vast dark ocean, more water than every sea on Earth combined, warm and moving and unseen. And when the mind first meets that image of a hidden sea under a locked lid of ice, far out in the cold, it flinches. But by the end of tonight, I hope you will feel about that ocean the way you feel about a warm room on the far side of a closed door, knowing it is there, knowing it is holding something safe, and not needing to open the door to rest. We will wander through 4 things together, slowly, with no hurry at all. We will look at what Europa actually is, this pale marble of ice, and its buried sea. We will trace how people came to find it, the long, patient story of eyes and lenses turned upward across 400 years. We will drift down through the ice ourselves, in imagination, into the dark, warm water below, and feel ourselves carried by it. And we will end by setting Europa back among the enormous quiet scale of things, where terror softens into something more like awe, and awe softens into sleep. If this channel has ever helped carry you toward rest, a like or a subscribe helps the channel reach others who are also lying awake right now, in other rooms, in other cities, staring at their own dark ceilings, looking for the same soft place to land. That is all. It costs you nothing, and it can wait until morning. And none of this is anything you need to hold on to. You do not need to remember the names, or the numbers, or follow the thread if it slips away from you. The words are only here to give your mind a warm and gentle current to float on. And if you drift off long before we reach the ocean, that is not a failure. That is exactly the point. Settle in. Let your shoulders ease down, away from your ears. Let the weight of your body be taken up completely by whatever is beneath you. The mattress, the pillow, the whole patient earth underneath that. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands go heavy. Let's begin. Let us start with the simplest thing, which is what Europa looks like from far away, before we know anything else about it. Imagine you are floating in space, at rest, with the great striped face of Jupiter filling half the sky in front of you, banded in cream and amber and rust, turning so slowly you can almost watch the storms crawl. And off to one side, small against all that, there is a bright round point of light, whiter and cleaner than anything else out here. That is Europa. As you drift closer, it grows into a pale globe, and you notice at once how smooth it is. Most worlds you have seen are pockmarked and cratered, scarred by every rock that ever struck them, wearing their whole violent history openly on their faces. Europa is not like that. Europa is nearly featureless, so smooth it looks polished, the roundest and cleanest surface of almost any body we know. It is the color of old ivory, of moonlight on frost, and across it run long faint lines, reddish and brown, curving and crisscrossing like cracks in the glaze of an old bowl, or like the veins in a leaf held up to the light. There are almost no craters at all. And that absence is the first quiet clue to everything hidden underneath. Because a surface with no scars is a surface that heals itself, a surface that is young, a surface that is somehow being made new. Sit with that image for a moment, this pale, scarless globe turning in the dark, and feel how it is already less frightening than you expected. It does not loom, it does not menace. It simply turns, patient and bright, the way a face turns in sleep. Whatever is terrifying about Europa is not on the outside. The outside is one of the most serene surfaces in the entire family of the sun. The terror, if there is any, is the terror of what we cannot see, and we will come to that softly, one layer at a time, the way you might peel back one blanket and then another on a cold night, finding each time a deeper warmth. Now let us think about size, because size is the first thing that settles the nerve. Europa is a moon, and when we say moon, we mean it is small. It measures a little under 2,000 miles across, which sounds large until you set it beside a planet, and then it becomes a pebble beside a boulder. It is slightly smaller than our own moon, the familiar one you have watched your whole life. So if you have ever stood in a field at night and looked up at that calm silver disk and felt not fear but a kind of company, then you already know the true size of Europa. It is a body you could, in your mind, cup in two hands. It is a body you could walk around, given enough patient years. It is not vast in the way that frightens. Only what it holds is vast, and even that vastness, as we will see, is a warm and enclosed vastness, the vastness of a full cup rather than the vastness of an empty room. So let us go now to the thing itself, the ice. The whole outer skin of Europa is water frozen hard, a shell of ice wrapped completely around the moon, from pole to pole, with no gap anywhere. Picture that for a moment. Not a cap of ice at the top and bottom, the way our own world wears its poles, but a total covering, a seamless sphere of frozen water enclosing everything beneath. And this ice is cold beyond anything your body has ever known. So cold that the ordinary rules of ice begin to change. Out there, far from the sun, the surface of Europa sits at temperatures low enough that water ice becomes hard as stone, hard enough to hold mountains, hard enough to crack in long straight lines and hold those cracks for ages. If you could stand on that surface and knock on it, it would not answer like a frozen pond answers. It would answer like rock, like granite, like the oldest stone in the deepest cave. The cold has made the water strong. And here is where the mind wants to shiver. So let us slow down and take the shiver apart. Cold, in the dark, alone, far from the sun, these are the raw materials of every fear we have ever felt on a winter night. But feel how the cold on Europa is not reaching for you. It is not the cold of a draft under a door or a wind that finds the gap in your coat. It is a still cold, a settled cold, a cold that has been exactly what it is for millions upon millions of years, without changing, without wanting anything, without moving toward anyone. It is the cold of a thing at perfect rest. And a thing at perfect rest is not a threat. A stone at the bottom of a river is cold, and it is also the most peaceful object you can imagine, asking nothing, going nowhere, simply held. The ice of Europa is like that stone. It is not waiting to hurt you. It is only resting, the way you are resting now, and it has been resting far longer than there have been eyes to see it. Now the cracks, those faint reddish lines that curve across the pale surface, the ones that look like veins in a leaf, they have a name and a story. We call them lineae, which is only the old word for lines, and they are places where the ice has split and shifted and split again over enormous spans of time. Some of them run for thousands of miles, longer than any river or mountain range on Earth, curving in great arcs across whole regions of the Moon. And the reason they curve, the reason they are not straight, is one of the loveliest facts about this little world. As Europa swings around Jupiter, the giant planet's gravity pulls on it, stretching it and squeezing it, kneading the whole Moon like two hands working a piece of dough. This is called tidal flexing, and it happens because the Moon's orbit is not a perfect circle, so the pull grows and eases, over and over, on a rhythm that never stops. Each squeeze cracks the ice a little differently, and over ages the cracks pile up into those beautiful curving patterns, a slow handwriting written by gravity across the face of the ice. Feel the rhythm of that, because it is the same rhythm your own body is settling into now. Grow and ease. Squeeze and release. The Moon is breathed in and out by the planet it circles, a long, slow tidal breath that takes days to complete and has been going on, unbroken, for longer than the Earth has had continents. There is something deeply restful in a rhythm that old and that patient. You do not have to keep it going. You do not have to tend it. It simply continues. The way your breath simply continues. The way the tide comes in whether or not anyone is watching the shore. And that same patient squeezing is doing something warm down below, something we will come to soon, because all that kneading makes heat, and the heat keeps the secret sea from freezing. But before we go down into the water, let us stay a little longer on the strangeness of the surface, because it rewards slow attention. In some places, the smooth ice gives way to what look like tumbled fields of broken blocks, great slabs of ice that seem to have cracked apart and drifted, and then frozen again in new arrangements, like the pieces of a puzzle nudged out of place and never quite put back. We call this chaos terrain, which is a dramatic name for something that is really just evidence of movement. Evidence that the ice here is not one dead frozen thing, but a shell that shifts and flows, slowly, over the warm ocean it floats upon. Icebergs the size of cities, tilted and rotated, then locked back into place. It is as though the surface remembers, in its scars and jumbles, every motion of the sea beneath, the way a sleeping face sometimes moves with the shape of a dream it will never recall on waking. And in a few rare places there are low domes and dark spots, blisters in the ice, where something warmer from below may once have pushed up toward the surface, softening it, lifting it into a gentle mound. Nothing violent, nothing sudden, just the slow upward press of warmth against a ceiling of ice over thousands of years, raising it a little the way warm air raises the surface of a pond in spring. Everything on Europa happens slowly. That is worth holding on to tonight, if you hold on to anything at all. Nothing here is in a hurry. The cracks take ages to form. The blocks take ages to drift. The domes take ages to rise. It is a world with no rush in it anywhere. A world where 1,000,000 years is a reasonable amount of time to move a single block of ice a little way to the side. If you find your own thoughts racing tonight, let them slow to Europa's pace, where there is time for everything, where nothing needs to be finished, where the only speed is the speed of ice flowing over a warm and hidden sea. Now we come to the heart of it, the ocean. The thing that makes people call this little moon terrifying, and the thing that, once you understand it, becomes the warmest image in the whole night sky. Beneath that shell of ice, somewhere between 10 and 15 miles down in some places, the ice gives way to liquid water, Not a lake, not a pool, a single global ocean wrapping the entire moon, dark and deep and warm enough to stay liquid, held there by the constant kneading warmth of Jupiter's pull. And this ocean is deep, far deeper than any ocean on Earth. Where our own deepest trench falls about 7 miles at its lowest, the ocean of Europa may be 60 miles deep, or more. An unbroken body of water so vast that if you gathered every sea and lake and river and raindrop on our entire planet and poured them all together, you would still have only a fraction of what lies hidden beneath the ice of this one small moon. Twice the water of all the Earth, held in the dark, held warm, held safe under a lid of frozen sky. Let this be the image we return to all night, the thread that runs through everything, the hidden ocean beneath the ice. Because the mind, meeting it for the first time, wants to feel the horror of it. A lightless sea, a ceiling of ice you could never break through. Cold above and dark below, and no shore anywhere, no surface to swim up to, no air, no sky. And I understand why that image can catch in the throat like a held breath. But turn it, slowly, the way you would turn a stone in your hand to catch the light on its other side. That same ocean, from the inside, is not a trap. It is a cradle. It is the warmest, most sheltered place for 100 million miles in any direction. Above it, the surface faces the killing cold of open space, the hard radiation streaming off Jupiter, the emptiness. But down in the water, none of that reaches. The ice is not a lid locking you in. The ice is a roof keeping the cold out. The dark is not the dark of danger. It is the dark of a room with the curtains drawn, the dark you close your own eyes into every night, the dark that means it is time, at last, to rest. Feel yourself held by that water. You do not have to imagine drowning in it. Imagine instead that you are being carried by it, suspended, weightless, the way you float in the warm shallows of a summer sea with your ears just under the surface and the whole world gone soft and far away. The water of Europa is like that, only deeper and more complete. A warmth with no edges. A buoyancy with no bottom you could fall to, and no top you could break through. Only the endless tender support of water on every side. Your weight, which presses you into your bed right now, would simply dissolve. You would hang in the dark, held from every direction at once, rocked by currents so slow and so old they are almost a kind of stillness. Nothing would ask anything of you there. There would be nowhere to go and nothing to do and no way to fall. That is the ocean beneath the ice. Not a horror, a held breath finally let go. And it is warm, and the warmth comes from a beautiful place, so let us understand where it comes from, gently, because the source of the warmth is the same slow rhythm we felt before. Out here, so far from the sun, sunlight is thin and weak, no more than a bright star among stars, far too faint to melt any ice or warm any sea. So the warmth of Europa's ocean does not come from above, it comes from within, from the flexing, from the endless kneading of Jupiter's gravity working the whole moon like a ball of clay turned over and over in patient hands. Every time Europa swings a little closer to Jupiter, and then a little farther, the moon is squeezed and released. Squeezed and released. And all that flexing rubs the moon's insides against themselves, and the rubbing makes heat, the way you warm your cold hands by rubbing them together on a winter morning. That friction, deep in the rock at the ocean's floor, is the hearth of this world. It is a fire with no flame, a warmth made purely of motion, and it has been burning, in its quiet way, for billions of years, and it will keep the sea liquid for billions more. Think of that. A warmth that needs no fuel, no sun, no burning, only the slow, faithful pull of the planet it circles. As long as Europa keeps its orbit, as long as Jupiter keeps its place, the kneading continues, and the warmth continues, and the ocean stays liquid in the dark. There is a kind of security in that which is hard to find anywhere on Earth. Our own warmth is fragile, dependent on a sun that could dim, on fires that must be fed, on a thin blanket of air that could thin. But the warmth of Europa's ocean is woven into the very motion of the heavens, into the turning of moon around planet, a warmth as reliable as gravity itself. It cannot forget to keep you warm. It cannot run out. It simply is and will be, long after everything you have ever worried about has been forgotten by everyone. Let us pause here and go back in time, because the story of how people came to know about this hidden ocean is itself a slow and soothing tale, 4 centuries long, told by patient eyes turned upward in the dark. Europa was not always known. For almost all of human history, no one alive had any idea it existed. The moon hung there, small and bright beside Jupiter, utterly unseen, because the human eye alone is not sharp enough to separate it from the glare of the planet. It took an invention to reveal it, and the invention was the telescope. And the story begins on winter nights just over 400 years ago, in the year 1610, when an Italian astronomer turned a small new instrument toward Jupiter and saw something no one had ever seen before. Imagine that man on those cold January evenings, standing at a window or in a courtyard, holding to his eye a tube not much better than a modern child's toy, and seeing beside the bright disk of Jupiter a few tiny points of light arranged in a nearly straight line. Night after night he looked, and night after night the little points had moved, shifting their positions, sometimes 3 of them, sometimes 4, sometimes hidden entirely behind the planet, and then emerging again on the other side. And slowly, over those patient nights, he understood what he was seeing. These were not stars. Stars do not move like that, back and forth, night to night, keeping close to Jupiter as though tethered to it. These were worlds, moons circling another planet the way our own moon circles us. And with that quiet realization, the old picture of a universe turning neatly around the Earth began, softly, to come apart. For here were bodies plainly going around something that was not the Earth at all. There is something deeply restful about that story, if you let it settle. A person standing alone in the cold, looking patiently at the same small patch of sky, night after night, asking nothing of it but to be looked at, and slowly being shown a truth that would change how everyone understood the heavens. No rush, no sudden revelation, just attention, repeated, evening after evening, until the pattern gave up its secret. Europa was one of those 4 points of light, one of the 4 moons that patient observer found, and they are still called the Galilean moons in his honor. 4 little worlds that a single careful man pulled out of the glare of a giant planet with a tube of glass and a great deal of patience. For the next 300 years and more, that is all Europa was to anyone, a moving point of light. A name in a book, a tiny companion of Jupiter, its true nature completely hidden. And it stayed hidden for a wonderfully long time, which is worth savoring, because it reminds us how recent our knowing is and how much patience the universe rewards. Through all those centuries, telescopes grew larger and finer, and Europa grew from a point into a tiny disk, and astronomers could measure its size and its orbit, and note that it was bright, unusually bright, brighter than a bare rock should be. But no one could see its surface. No one could guess at any ocean. No one imagined that beneath that brightness lay more water than all the earth. The brightness itself was the first faint clue, whispered across the centuries, because a surface that bright is a surface of ice, and ice means water, frozen at least. And where there is that much frozen water, there might, just might, be liquid water somewhere below. But that thought could not be tested for a very long time. It waited, the way the ocean waited, patient under its lid. The real revealing came only in our own age, when we learned to do the thing the ancient skywatchers could only dream of, which is to leave the Earth and send our eyes across the vast dark to Jupiter itself. In the 1970s, small robotic travelers were launched toward the outer planets, and after years of silent coasting through the emptiness, they passed close by Jupiter and its moons, and sent home the first true pictures. And there, for the first time, Europa stopped being a point of light and became a place. A pale, cracked globe, smooth and strange, laced with those reddish lines, unlike anything anyone had expected. And the scientists looking at those first images felt, I think, the same thing you feel when you finally see the face of someone you have only ever known by name. A sudden closeness, a sudden reality. The abstract made warm and present at last. Then, in the 1990s, a dedicated traveler arrived to stay a while, a spacecraft that settled into orbit around Jupiter and spent years circling among its moons, passing Europa again and again, each pass revealing more. It was this patient orbiting visitor that gave us the ocean. It measured the way Europa disturbed the magnetic field around Jupiter, and the disturbance made sense only if there was, beneath the ice, a deep layer of salty water, a global conductive sea. It photographed the cracked and jumbled surface in detail and saw the signs of a shell that floats and shifts on something liquid below. It gathered, piece by patient piece, the evidence for a hidden ocean until the conclusion became almost impossible to escape. Under the ice of Europa, there is a sea. We had reasoned our way down through miles of frozen sky without ever touching it, and found warm water waiting in the dark. And now that we have found it, let us go down into it, slowly, together, in the only way we can, which is in the imagination, which is the safest and softest way of all. Let yourself be lowered, gradually, from the bright cold surface, down through the ice, toward the sea. There is no danger in this descent. You cannot be hurt here. You are only picturing it, warm in your bed, while the real ice keeps its real distance, millions of miles away, needing nothing from you, and offering only its slow example of rest. Begin at the top, on the surface, where the ice is hardest and brightest and coldest. Above you hangs the enormous striped face of Jupiter, filling a great portion of the sky, glowing faintly, turning with unbearable slowness. The sun is only a very bright star, small and distant, casting long, weak shadows across the white ground. It is quiet here, quieter than anywhere you have ever stood, because there is no air to carry sound, and so no wind, no whisper, no noise of any kind, only a silence so complete it is almost a presence, a silence you could lean back into. Now let yourself sink. Let the surface close softly over you, the way sleep closes over a long day. As you descend into the ice, the light begins to change. The harsh brightness of the surface fades, and the ice around you glows a deep and tender blue, the color of the heart of a glacier, the color of the deepest part of a wave just before it breaks. A blue so pure and so calm that simply being inside it would slow your breathing. The ice here is ancient and clear, shot through with faint veins and threads where salts and minerals have gathered, and the farther you sink, the warmer and softer it becomes, less like stone now, and more like something between solid and liquid, a slow-flowing ice that has forgotten how to be hard. You are not falling. You are drifting down, unhurried, carried by nothing more urgent than your own dreaming weight, the way a leaf drifts down through still water toward the bottom of a pond. And then, far below, you begin to sense a change, a warmth rising to meet you, and the blue of the ice gives way at last to the black of open water, and you pass through the underside of the shell, the ceiling of the sea, and you are in the ocean. Feel that moment. The last of the ice releases you, and the water takes you up, and suddenly there is no down and no up, no floor and no roof, only the warm dark holding you on every side. You are being carried now, entirely. The current, slow and old and gentle, moves you without asking, the way a parent carries a sleeping child from the car to the bed, so smoothly the child never wakes. You are that child now, in the warm dark of Europa's sea, carried and carried and carried, with nowhere you need to arrive and nothing you need to do. Drift here a while. Let the currents turn you slowly. Down at the ocean's floor, miles below the ice, there may be warmth seeping up from the rock, places where the moon's inner heat meets the water and stirs it into slow rising plumes, the way warmth rises off a radiator into a cold room. Some scientists think that around such places, on the dark floor of that hidden sea, the conditions might exist for the very first faint stirrings of life, not creatures you would recognize, nothing with eyes or fear, but the simplest possible living things gathered around the warmth in the dark, the way we have found living things gathered around similar warm vents on the floors of our own oceans, thriving in total darkness, needing no sunlight at all, fed only by the warmth and the minerals rising from below. We do not know if anything lives there. We may not know for a very long time, but the possibility is tender rather than frightening. The thought that even here, in the most hidden sea in the solar system, under miles of ice, in perfect darkness, warmth might be quietly gathering the ingredients of life around itself, patiently, without hurry, the way everything on Europa happens. And whether or not anything lives there, the water itself is enough. Let yourself simply be in it. Above you, miles of ice, a whole frozen sky, sealing in the warmth, holding out the cold and the dark of space. Below you, the slow warm floor of the world. And all around you, water. Water without end. More water than you could travel in 100 lifetimes. Water that has never seen the sun and never needed to. Water as dark and as calm and as complete as the inside of a closed eye. There is no safer place to imagine yourself tonight. Nothing can reach you here. The whole violent universe is held off by miles of ancient ice, and you float in the warm middle of it all, weightless, carried, asked for nothing, held. Now let us rise back up, unhurried, and think about why the darkness of that ocean is not something to fear. Because darkness is one of the oldest of all our fears, and Europa's ocean is one of the darkest places imaginable, and yet there is nothing in it to dread. On Earth, when we speak of darkness with fear, we mean the darkness where something might be hiding. The darkness that hides a threat. The darkness our distant ancestors learned to watch because a predator might be crouched in it. That is the darkness written into our oldest instincts, the darkness that quickens the heart. But the darkness of Europa's sea is a different kind of darkness entirely. A darkness with nothing hidden in it that means you harm. A darkness that is simply the absence of any need for light. Because think about what light is for. Light is for finding, for hunting, for hurrying, for doing. In the light we are busy, we are alert, we are watching and reaching and going. And the dark, the true and complete dark, is the world with all of that switched off. It is the world at rest. Down in that sea, there has been no light for billions of years, and in all that time nothing has needed any, and nothing has hurried, and nothing has watched, and nothing has feared. It is a darkness that has never once been frightening to itself. A darkness perfectly at ease with being dark, and if you can borrow just a little of that ease tonight, if you can let your own darkness behind your closed eyes be that kind of darkness, the kind with nothing hidden in it, the kind that means only rest, then you are already halfway to sleep. And notice, too, that you carry a small piece of that safe darkness inside you already, every night. When you close your eyes, you make a little Europa of your own, a warm dark sealed off from the bright cold world outside. Your eyelids are your own shell of ice, thin and soft, but doing the same faithful work, holding out the glare and the noise and the hurry, sealing you into a warm dark space where nothing is required of you. And in that little sea behind your eyes, the same slow currents move, the drift of half-thoughts, the wandering of a mind let off its leash, carried this way and that with no destination. You know this darkness. You visit it every single night. It has never harmed you. Europa's ocean is only the same darkness made enormous, the same rest made into a world. Let us stay a while longer with the strangeness of a sea that never sees the sky, because there is comfort folded into it. On Earth, every drop of water is part of a great restless cycle. It rises into the air as vapor, gathers into clouds, falls as rain, runs down through rivers to the sea, and rises again. Over and over, a ceaseless turning that never rests. Our water is always going somewhere, always changing its form, always in motion between sky and sea and land. But the water of Europa knows none of that. It has no sky to rise into, no rain to fall, no rivers to run. It is sealed, complete, held in one enormous unbroken body beneath the ice, moving only in the slowest of inner currents. Never leaving, never evaporating, never falling. It is water at rest in the deepest sense. Water that has found its place and stays in it. Water with nowhere else to be. There is a peace in that image that is hard to find in the restless world we know. To be somewhere completely. To have arrived entirely, and to have nowhere further to go. So much of our waking life is spent in motion, between places, between tasks, between who we were this morning and who we must be by evening, always in the cycle, always rising and falling, always going somewhere. But right now, tonight, in this bed, you are permitted to be like the water of Europa. You have arrived. There is nowhere further to go tonight. You can stop the cycle, let the rising and falling ease, and simply be here, sealed into your own warm dark, complete, at rest, going nowhere at all until morning. Nothing is asking you to move. Nothing is asking you to change your form. You may simply stay, the way that ancient sea simply stays, held and whole and still. Let us turn now to the great planet that Europa circles, Jupiter itself, because it looms over this whole story, and it too can seem terrifying until you understand what it is really doing. Jupiter is enormous beyond easy imagining, the largest planet by far, so large that all the other planets together would fit inside it with room to spare. A globe of swirling gas so vast that Europa, from its surface, would see Jupiter spanning a huge arc of the sky, far larger than our own moon looks to us. A striped and glowing wall of amber and cream that never sets, hanging always in the same place because Europa, like our own moon, keeps one face turned forever toward the planet it orbits. Imagine that. A world where the same great face fills the same part of the sky, always, forever, turning slowly through its bands and storms, but never rising and never setting, a permanent glowing companion overhead. And Jupiter is fierce in its way. It is wrapped in a vast field of magnetism and radiation, invisible sheets of energy that stream off it and would be deadly to anything unshielded on Europa's surface. This is one of the harder facts about the moon, one of the things people mean when they call it terrifying, that its surface is bathed in radiation, scoured by it, a place where no unprotected traveler could linger. But feel again how the ocean turns even this into comfort, because the same miles of ice that seal in the warmth also seal out the radiation. That fierce invisible storm streaming off Jupiter cannot reach the sea. It stops at the surface, absorbed by the ice, held off entirely from the warm dark water below. The very thing that makes the surface dangerous makes the ocean, by contrast, one of the most sheltered places in the entire solar system, wrapped and shielded and protected on every side. So Jupiter, the fierce giant, is not really the villain of this story. Jupiter is the source of the warmth through its patient tidal kneading. Jupiter is the reason the ocean stays liquid at all. Without that giant planet and its constant pull, Europa would long ago have frozen solid all the way through, a dead ball of ice with no sea inside it. It is Jupiter's gravity, the very thing that seems so overwhelming, that keeps the hidden sea alive. The giant is not looming over the little moon to threaten it. The giant is holding the little moon in a slow embrace, warming it from within, keeping its secret ocean liquid across the billions of years. What looks like domination is really a kind of care, a vast, slow tending, a warmth given freely and without end. There is something in that worth carrying into sleep. The idea that what seems large and overwhelming might, seen truly, be holding you rather than threatening you. The immense things in your own life, the responsibilities that loom, the futures that seem too big to face, the questions with no easy answers, they can feel like Jupiter filling the whole sky, too large to look at directly. But perhaps some of them, seen from the inside, from the warm, sheltered place beneath your own ice, are less threat than warmth, less weight than embrace. And in any case, none of them are asking anything of you right now, in the dark, in your bed. They can loom in their distant sky all night if they like. You are down in the warm water, shielded, held, and the looming cannot reach you here. Let Jupiter hang in its sky. Let the large things loom at their safe distance. You are not on the surface tonight. You are in the sea. Let us think now about time, about how long all of this has been going on, because the great ages of Europa are among the most soothing thoughts of all, and they set our own small worries in a kinder light. This ocean has been liquid for a very, very long time, not for centuries, not for thousands of years. For billions, the sea beneath the ice was there, before there were fish in the oceans of Earth, before there were forests, before there was anything walking on any shore anywhere. When the first simple life was stirring in our own young seas, Europa's ocean was already ancient, already turning its slow dark currents, already sealed beneath its shell, and it will still be there, still liquid, still warm, long after everything we know has changed beyond recognition, long after the last person who ever worried about anything has been forgotten, long after the very question of why Europa is terrifying has stopped being asked by anyone at all. There is a particular comfort in things that are older than all our troubles. When you cannot sleep, the worries that keep you awake feel enormous, feel urgent, feel like they fill the whole night. But they are so young. The oldest of your worries is younger than you are, and you are so much younger than the mountains, and the mountains are so much younger than the earth, and the earth is barely older than that patient sea beneath the ice of Europa. Set your worry beside that ocean, just for a moment. Your worry, a few hours old, a few days old, a few years old at most, and the ocean, billions of years deep, turning its currents in the dark since before the beginning of anything you could name. The ocean does not know your worry exists. The ocean has been at peace since long before your worry was born, and it will be at peace long after your worry is gone. And there is no insult in that, only a great and freeing perspective, a reminder that the things pressing on you tonight are so much smaller and so much younger than the calm old universe that holds them. And the universe is patient with young things. It does not rush the ice to crack, or the currents to turn, or the warmth to gather. It gives everything the time it needs, all the time in the world, and more. So you may be patient with yourself tonight too. You do not have to solve anything now. You do not have to finish any thought, or reach any conclusion, or resolve any of the small young worries that came to bed with you. You can let them wait, the way the ocean has let everything wait, patiently, across the ages. There is time. There is so much more time than you think. The sleep you are moving toward is not a deadline to be met, but a slow current to be carried by. And it will take you when it takes you, in its own good time, the way everything on Europa happens in its own good time, without hurry, without failure, without any need to arrive. Now let us think about scale in the other direction, about how small Europa is against the whole vast sky, because that smallness, too, is a comfort rather than a terror. We have called Europa little, and it is a moon smaller than our own, a pale bead beside the giant Jupiter. And Jupiter, for all its size, is itself only one planet circling one ordinary star, our Sun, which is itself only one star among hundreds of billions in our galaxy, which is itself only one galaxy among hundreds of billions more, scattered across a universe so vast that its size is not really a number the mind can hold, only a word, only a feeling, only a soft, enormous hush. And somewhere in all of that, so small it would take a lifetime just to find it, is Europa and its hidden sea, turning its slow currents in the dark. You might think that being so small in something so large would be frightening, that it would make you feel lost, insignificant, a speck. But feel how it does the opposite, if you let it. Because if the universe is that vast, and that old, and that full of quiet turning worlds, then whatever is troubling you tonight is held in a context so enormous that it simply cannot loom the way it wants to. You are small, yes, and so is Europa, and so is the Earth, and so is the Sun, and there is a tremendous relief in that smallness. You do not have to hold the universe up. You are not responsible for the turning of the galaxies, or the warming of the seas, or the cracking of the ice. All of that vast machinery turns without any help from you, has turned for billions of years, will turn for billions more, and asks nothing of you but to rest inside it. One small warm creature among countless small warm places, held in the great dark the way Europa's sea is held beneath its ice. Let us come back down now, closer, and think about the surface of the sea against the underside of the ice, that strange meeting place, because it is one of the most curious and tender regions of this whole world. At the very top of the ocean, where the warm water presses against the frozen ceiling, there is a slow, endless exchange. In some places, the water freezes onto the underside of the ice, adding to it from below, so the shell grows downward even as it may thin elsewhere. In other places, the warmth rises and softens the ice from underneath, thinning it, and perhaps in a few rare spots the ocean and the surface come close enough that water from the sea can work its way up through cracks toward the top of the world. Some observers have seen faint signs of this, thin plumes of vapor rising off Europa's surface, as though the hidden sea were breathing out, very softly, once in a long while, sending a little of itself up into the dark of space before it settles back down as frost. Imagine that. A sea so sealed and hidden that we have never touched it, and yet, once in a great while, it exhales, and a wisp of it drifts up through a crack in the ice and out into space. A breath from a world we have never opened. There is something intimate in that, something living seeming without being alarming, the slow, patient breathing of a moon. In and out, over ages, the tides squeeze, the warmth gathers, the ice thins and thickens, and now and then a soft plume rises like a sigh. It is the closest thing Europa has to a voice, and it is the quietest voice imaginable, a breath released into the dark, and no one there to hear it, for billions of years, until we came along at last and noticed. And notice how your own breath is doing the same thing, right now, without any effort from you. In and out. Slow, faithful, you are not deciding to breathe. It happens on its own, the way Europa's tides happen on their own, the way its slow plumes rise on their own, a rhythm you do not have to tend. Let your attention rest on it for just a moment, the way you might rest your eyes on the slow rise and fall of a distant tide, and then let even that attention go. You do not have to watch your breath any more than the ocean has to watch its own. It knows how. It has always known how. Let it keep you the way the tides keep Europa warm, faithfully, without a single moment's thought. Now let us think about the color of it all, because Europa is quietly beautiful, and beauty is a soft thing to fall asleep on. From space, the moon is pale gold and white, the color of cream, of old ivory, of the first light on a snowy morning before the sun is fully up, and across it run those long reddish-brown lines, warm russet and amber, tracing their great curving patterns over the pale ground. Where do those warm colors come from? They come, most likely, from salts and minerals carried up from the ocean below, staining the ice as they reach the surface, a faint reddish signature of the sea's own chemistry written across the white. So even the colors of the surface are a gift from the hidden water, a message from below. The ocean's slow handwriting made visible in warm earthy tones against the pale ice. Picture those colors as you drift. The soft cream of the ice, the warm russet of the great curving cracks, the deep blue glow within the ice when the weak sunlight filters through it, the utter black of the sea beneath, and within that black, perhaps, the faint warm glow of vents on the ocean floor, tiny hearths of heat in the dark. It is a palette of the most restful colors there are. Creams and ambers and deep blues and warm dark browns, the colors of firelight and old wood and still water and evening. There is nothing garish here, Nothing that startles the eye, only the low warm tones that the eye relaxes into. The colors a room takes on when you have turned down the last lamp but one, and everything has gone soft and golden and dim. Let those colors settle over you like a blanket dyed in the deep, restful shades of a world made mostly of ice and water and patient time. Let us think for a while about silence, the profound and complete silence of Europa, because silence is one of the deepest comforts we can offer a mind that will not quiet. On Europa's surface there is no air, and where there is no air there can be no sound, and so the surface of Europa is silent in a way that nowhere on Earth is ever silent. Even in the quietest place you have ever stood, some deep cave, some empty field at 3 a.m, there was still air around you, still the faint hush of it moving, still the tiny sounds of your own body carried through it. On Europa, there is none of that. A rock could fall and make no noise. The ice could crack and no sound would travel. It is a silence so total that it is almost a substance, a thick, soft silence that fills everything and covers everything and asks for nothing. And beneath the ice, in the sea, there is sound. Because sound travels beautifully through water, but it is the slowest and lowest kind of sound, the deep groan of shifting ice, the faint rush of a slow current, the occasional distant creak of the great shell settling overhead, all of it stretched and softened by the miles of water it moves through, all of it low and long and far away. It is the sound a whale might hear in the deepest part of an ocean, the sound of vastness itself, low and rolling and unhurried. There is nothing sharp in it, nothing sudden, no bark or ring or clatter, only the long, low tones of a great body of water at rest, the sounds a world makes when it is not doing anything, when it is only being. Let your own inner world grow that quiet. So much of what keeps us awake is noise, the noise of thoughts, the replaying of the day, the rehearsing of tomorrow, a mind full of sharp, sudden sounds that will not settle. But you can let those sounds sink, the way a sound sinks as it travels down through deep water, growing lower and slower and fainter the deeper it goes, until it is only a distant rolling murmur. And then, not even that. Let the sharp thoughts of the day travel down through the deep water of your mind, softening as they sink, losing their edges, becoming low and slow and far away, until the surface of your mind is as silent as the surface of Europa, and the deep of it is as calm as the deep of that hidden sea, and there is nothing left but the low, long tone of your own slow breathing, rolling through you like the sound of a distant tide. Now let us consider the loneliness of Europa, because that is another word people reach for when they call it terrifying, the sheer isolation of it, so far from us, so far from the sun, alone in the cold dark at the edge of the outer solar system. And it is far. It takes years for our fastest travelers to reach it, years of coasting through the empty dark. Light itself, which crosses the distance from the sun to the earth in about 8 minutes, takes more than half an hour to reach Jupiter and its moons. It is a long, long way out there in the cold. And yet consider whether Europa is truly lonely, or whether that is only our own fear speaking, our own dread of being far and alone projected onto a moon that feels no such thing. For Europa is not alone at all when you look. It has Jupiter always overhead, its great warm glowing companion filling the sky, never leaving, never setting, a constant presence that both holds it and warms it. It has its sister moons, the other worlds the patient astronomer found on those cold nights, wheeling nearby in their own slow orbits, so that from Europa's surface you would often see one or another of them, a bright disk crossing the sky, near enough to seem like company. And it has, above all, its own hidden sea, its warm inner ocean, a whole world of water held close inside it, so that Europa is never truly empty, never truly cold at its heart, always carrying its warmth within. The way you carry your own warmth within you no matter how cold the room. A world with an ocean in its heart is not lonely. It is full. It is the fullest kind of quiet there is. Let us return once more to that thread that runs through the whole night, the hidden ocean beneath the ice. And let us hold it up now and look at it as an image for something in ourselves, because I think that is part of why this little moon reaches us so deeply. There is something in the picture of a warm sea hidden beneath a hard, cold shell that we recognize quietly, without quite saying so. Because we are all a little like Europa. We wear a surface to the world, a shell, sometimes hard, sometimes cold, scored with the long cracks of everything we have been through, showing very little of what moves beneath. And underneath that surface, held in the dark where the world cannot easily reach it, each of us carries a warm inner sea, a whole ocean of feeling and memory and quiet aliveness, deeper than anyone looking at our surface could ever guess. And that inner ocean is not terrifying, though we sometimes fear it. It is where our warmth is kept. It is what keeps us from freezing solid, no matter how cold the surface has to be. So when you feel afraid of what is hidden inside you, of the depths you cannot see the bottom of, remember Europa. Remember that a hidden depth is not a danger, but a warmth. That a sealed inner sea is not a trap, but a shelter. That the very thing you cannot see all the way into is the thing that keeps you alive and moving and whole. The frightening ocean and the sheltering ocean are the same ocean. It only depends on where you are standing, on whether you are meeting it from the cold outside or resting in its warm inside. And tonight, I am inviting you to rest inside it, in your own warm depths, beneath your own protecting ice, held by the warmth you carry and have always carried. The warmth that has never once gone out. Let us slow down even further now, because the words have done most of their work, and what is left is mostly to keep you company as you drift. Feel again the ice above the sea, that great protecting shell, miles thick, holding out everything cold and sharp and sudden. Feel again the water below, warm and dark and endless, carrying you without asking anything. Feel again the slow tidal rhythm of the whole moon, the patient breath of gravity, in and out over ages. The same rhythm as your own slow breathing now. And feel, above it all, the giant planet turning in the sky, no longer a threat but a warmth, the source of all the moon's inner heat, holding its little moon in a long, slow embrace across the billions of years. There is nowhere in all of this that you need to be but here. There is nothing in all of this that you need to do but drift. The moon does not need you to watch it. The ocean does not need you to understand it. The ice does not need you to fear it or forgive it. All of it turns on without you, faithfully, warmly, patiently, the way it has turned since long before you were born, and the way it will turn long after you have forgotten this night entirely. You may let go of all of it now. You may let the moon turn, and the ocean drift, and the ice hold, and the giant warm the dark, and you may simply sink softly into the warm water of your own rest, carried and carried and carried, asked for nothing, held on every side. Let us think, as you drift, about how much of what we called terrifying has quietly turned to warmth. The cold, we found, was only a thing at rest, the cold of a stone in a river, wanting nothing. The dark, we found, was only the world with its busyness switched off, the dark you close your own eyes into every night. The depth, we found, was not a place to drown, but a place to be carried. The silence, we found, was not emptiness, but the low, long tone of a world at peace. The loneliness, we found, was not real, for the moon is full of its own warm sea, and the giant looming overhead, we found, was not a threat at all, but the very source of the warmth that keeps the whole hidden ocean alive. One by one, every frightening thing turned over in our hands and showed its other, warmer face. That is the quiet lesson of Europa, if it has any lesson to give. The terrifying and the tender are so often the same thing, seen from two sides, and the whole art of resting is simply learning to stand on the warmer side, the inner side, the side where the ocean holds you, rather than the side where it seems to threaten. Let us wander now to the idea of the journeys we are sending toward Europa, the patient robotic travelers that are, even now, crossing the great dark to reach it, because there is something soothing in the thought of a slow, faithful voyage undertaken on our behalf while we sleep. Right now, in the real sky, spacecraft are being built and launched toward this moon, machines carrying instruments to peer into the ice, to map the shell, to sniff at the thin plumes, to measure the depth of the sea and its salt and its warmth. And these travelers move slowly, so slowly, coasting for years across distances that dwarf anything in human experience, sailing through the silent dark with the sun shrinking behind them to a bright star, patient beyond patience, arriving at last after journeys longer than some human lives. Think of one such traveler tonight, out there in the dark between the worlds, coasting toward Jupiter, its solar wings spread wide to catch the thinning light, utterly silent, utterly alone, and utterly untroubled by its solitude. It does not fret about the distance. It does not count the years. It simply coasts, faithfully, along the path we set for it, carried by the same gravity that carries the moons and the planets, falling forever toward its distant destination, in no hurry. Because there is no hurry that would help. It will arrive when it arrives. And in the meantime, it drifts through the great dark, at peace, doing exactly what it was made to do, which is to wait and to travel and to arrive in its own good time. You might let yourself be that traveler tonight, coasting slowly toward the morning through the dark of the night, in no hurry, needing to do nothing but drift along the path already set for you. You do not have to row toward sleep. You do not have to work at it or reach for it or count the hours. You have only to coast, the way the traveler coasts, letting the gravity of your own tiredness carry you faithfully toward the far shore of morning, arriving when you arrive, at peace in the dark in the meantime. The distance will cross itself. The night will turn itself. You have only to drift. And when that patient traveler finally reaches Europa, what will it find? It will find exactly what has been waiting there, unchanged, all along. The pale, cracked globe, the reddish lines, the smooth young ice healing itself over the ages. And beneath it, sensed but never seen, the warm, dark sea, turning its slow currents as it has turned them since before there was anyone to wonder about them. The traveler will map it and measure it and tell us more than we have ever known, and yet the deepest thing it finds will be the thing we already know in our hearts, that beneath the frightening cold surface there is warmth, and that the warmth has been there all along, faithful, patient, waiting, needing nothing, harming no one, simply holding its ocean safe in the dark, the way you are held safe in the dark tonight. Let us think about the word terrifying one last time, softly, before we begin to let the whole subject go. We have carried that word all night. Why is Europa the most terrifying moon? And we have watched it dissolve, layer by layer, into something closer to wonder. And perhaps that is what the word terrifying really points to when we use it about a thing like this. Not danger, exactly. Not a threat that means us harm. But awe. The particular awe we feel in the presence of something vast and old and utterly indifferent to us, something so much larger and deeper and more patient than ourselves that the mind, meeting it, does not quite know how to hold it and reaches for the biggest word it has. We call it terrifying because we have no better word for a warmth this vast, a patience this deep, a dark this complete and this untroubled. But the feeling underneath the word is not really fear. It is the feeling of standing at the edge of something enormous and quiet and being, for a moment, small enough to rest inside it. And that is not terror. That is the beginning of peace. Let us drift back down into the sea now, one more time, and stay there a good long while, because there is no better place to rest, and because the more familiar it becomes, the more it feels like home. Lower yourself again through the ice, through the deep blue glow of it, down past the veins of salt and mineral, down through the softening layers where the ice forgets how to be hard, down to the underside of the shell where the frozen ceiling meets the warm water, and then through, out into the open sea. And this time, do not descend any further. Simply hang there, just beneath the ice, in the topmost warm layer of the ocean, and let yourself be held. Above you, the underside of the ice stretches away in every direction, a vast pale ceiling, faintly glowing where a little light works down through the thinner places, arching over you like the roof of an enormous quiet cathedral made all of ice. It is beautiful up there, the frozen sky seen from below, rippled and veined and glowing dimly, curving away into the dark on every side, so far off that you cannot see where it ends. And it is holding, always holding, that great ceiling, keeping out the cold of space, keeping in the warmth of the sea, a roof that has not failed in billions of years and will not fail tonight. You are safe beneath it. Nothing above can reach you. The whole hard, cold universe presses down on the far side of that ice and cannot get through, and you float here beneath it in the warm, dark water, sheltered as completely as anything has ever been sheltered anywhere. And below you, the water goes down and down, mile after mile of warm, dark sea, and you do not have to follow it. You can simply rest here near the top, buoyed up, carried on the slow currents, turning softly, weightless, held. Feel how there is no effort in it. In water this deep and this warm, floating is not something you do. It is something that is done to you. The water holds you up without your help, from below and from every side, so that all your muscles can let go completely. All the small holdings and bracings of the day can release, and you can hang there, utterly slack, utterly supported, carried by a sea that has been carrying things gently for longer than the earth has had a moon of its own. Let the currents turn you. There is no wrong way to face. There is no direction you are supposed to go. The slow water moves you this way, and then that way, unhurried, aimless in the most restful sense, going nowhere because there is nowhere it needs to go, and taking you with it, gently, the way a tide turns a piece of driftwood over and over, patiently, through the long dark hours. You are the driftwood now. You are the leaf on the still pond. You are the small warm thing carried on the great warm sea, and the sea will not drop you, and the sea will not hurry you, and the sea asks nothing of you at all except that you let it carry you, which is the easiest thing in all the world, which is only the letting go you are already, this very moment, beginning to do. And as you hang there in the warm dark, notice how the fears we brought with us into this night have all quietly stayed behind on the surface, far above, on the cold, bright side of the ice, unable to follow you down. The fear of the cold could not come into the warm water. The fear of the dark could not survive in a dark this peaceful. The fear of the depth dissolved the moment the depth began to carry you instead of threatening you. The fear of being small vanished the moment being small meant being held. They are all still up there, perhaps, those old fears, pacing the cold, bright surface in the killing radiation, in the airless silence, unable to reach the warm sea below. But you are not up there with them anymore. You have gone down into the warm, where they cannot follow, and you may leave them there all night if you like, pacing the ice, while you rest in the water, carried and warm and free of every one of them. Let us think a while about weightlessness, about how it would feel to have no weight at all in that hidden sea, because the release of weight is one of the deepest bodily comforts there is. On the surface of Europa, gravity is faint, far weaker than on Earth, so that everything there already weighs only a fraction of what it would weigh at home. A stone that is heavy in your hand here would feel light as a leaf there. And in the water, weightlessness becomes complete. The last of that faint weight taken up by the buoyant sea, so that you would hang suspended with nothing pressing down on you anywhere, no floor beneath your feet, no ache in any muscle from holding yourself up, no heaviness at all, only the warm water holding you evenly from every side. It is the state your body most longs for at the end of a long day, the state of having your weight completely taken from you, of being held so fully that you no longer have to hold yourself at all. Feel your own body reaching toward that release now, even here in your bed. Notice wherever you are still, without meaning to, holding some part of yourself up, some small tension in the shoulders, the jaw, the hands, some faint bracing that the day left behind and that you never quite set down, and let the imagined water reach it. Let the warm, buoyant sea of Europa slip beneath that held place and lift it, take its weight, carry it, until it too can let go and float slack and easy like the rest of you. There is nothing you need to hold up tonight. Not your body, not your thoughts, not the day, not the morning. Let the warm sea take all of it, the way it takes the weight of everything that drifts in it, evenly, faithfully, from every side, so that you may hang here weightless and released, held so completely that holding yourself is no longer something you have to do. Let us think a while about the salt in that sea, because it is a small, tender detail that makes the ocean feel more familiar, more like the seas we know. Europa's ocean is almost certainly salty, its water carrying dissolved minerals leached from the rocky floor over billions of years, so that if you could taste it, it might taste not so very different from the seas of Earth, faintly briny, faintly of stone. And salt, in water, is what lets it stay liquid at temperatures where fresh water would freeze, And salt is what carries the electric currents that let us sense the ocean at all from far away. And salt is, in a quiet way, part of why the sea is a sea and not merely a slab of deeper ice. The whole hidden ocean is seasoned, gently, with the slow dissolving of the world it rests upon. A faint, patient brine gathered across the long ages, tasting a little of stone and a little of the deep. The way the oldest seas everywhere have always tasted. There is something homelike in that. The thought that the most alien sea we know of, hidden under miles of ice on a moon 500 million miles away, tastes a little of salt. The way our own tears do, the way our own blood does, the way the seas we were born beside do. We are, all of us, saltwater creatures, carrying a little ocean of our own inside us, and that little inner ocean is warm and dark and sealed away beneath our own surface, just like Europa's. When we imagine the salt sea under the ice, we are not imagining something wholly foreign. We are imagining a larger version of something we carry within us always, the warm salt water that is part of what we are, the sea we never left. Perhaps that is another reason the image reaches us so easily toward sleep, because it is, in the end, an image of ourselves, of the warm salt dark we each contain, held safe beneath the skin. Let us think, too, about how still it is down there, how free from storms. On Earth, the sea is restless, whipped by winds, torn by waves, heaved by tides that rise and fall along every shore. Our ocean has weather. It has moods. It can be violent. But Europa's ocean has no wind, because it has no air above it, only ice. It has no waves breaking on any shore, because it has no shore and no surface open to the sky. It has no storms. The only motion in it is the slow, deep stirring of its inner currents, turned by the faint warmth rising from the floor and the slow flexing of the whole moon. Motions so gradual and so gentle that they are almost stillness itself. It is a sea that has never known a storm, never in billions of years, a sea whose deepest disturbance is slower than the drift of clouds on a windless day. Imagine an ocean that has never once been stormy, an ocean whose whole long history has been calm. Every sea you have ever known has had its wild days, its gray heaving days, its days of danger. But this one, the deepest and largest ocean within reach of us, has been peaceful its entire existence, from the first moment it was liquid until now, turning its slow warm currents in the dark without a single storm to trouble it. If you have ever longed for a stillness that never breaks, for a calm you could trust never to turn on you, it is out there, real, in the sea beneath the ice of Europa, the most reliably peaceful place we have ever found. And you can borrow that stillness tonight. You can let your own inner sea grow that calm, that stormless, that reliably quiet, a warm dark water with no weather in it at all, turning its slow currents beneath the ice of your own closed eyes, undisturbed, unhurried, at peace all the way down. Let us think now about the floor of that sea, the rocky bottom far below, because even the deepest, darkest, most hidden part of this world turns out to be a place of warmth rather than dread. Miles beneath the ice, miles beneath the warm middle waters, the ocean rests at last upon rock, a rocky seafloor that is the true solid body of the moon beneath all its water and ice. And that seafloor is not cold and dead. It is warmed from below by the slow heat of the moon's interior and by the endless tidal kneading, and in places it may crack and vent, letting warmth and minerals seep up into the water, building slow chimneys and mounds where the heat escapes. These would be the warmest places in the whole sea, small hearths on the ocean floor, glowing faintly, gathering warmth and chemistry around themselves in the eternal dark. On Earth, we have found that exactly such places, the warm vents on the floors of our own deepest oceans, are crowded with life. Whole communities of living things gathered around the warmth, thriving in total darkness, far from any sunlight, fed entirely by the heat and the minerals rising from below. They do not need the sun. They do not need the surface. They have found a way to live on the warmth of the world itself, in the deepest dark, and they flourish there, quietly, in places no light has ever reached. And so when we imagine the floor of Europa's sea, we are not imagining a barren dead place. We are imagining, perhaps, the most sheltered garden in the solar system, warm hearths in the dark where the simplest life might gather, patient and hidden, needing nothing from the frightening surface far above, content in the warm deep dark. Whether or not anything lives there, hold the image of those warm hearths on the ocean floor as you drift, because it is such a tender picture, small glows of warmth at the very bottom of the deepest dark, faithfully burning, gathering warmth around themselves across the billions of years. It is the opposite of everything the word terrifying wants us to feel. It says that even at the very bottom, even in the deepest and most hidden dark, even miles below miles of water, below miles of ice, there is warmth. There is the possibility of life. There is a small faithful glow that has never gone out. The dark of Europa goes down a very long way, but it never goes cold at the bottom. At the very deepest point, where you would most expect only frozen dead silence, there is instead a hearth, warm, patient, quietly alight. And is that not a hopeful thing to carry into sleep, the knowledge that the deepest dark has a warm floor? Because sleep itself is a kind of descent into the dark, a letting go down through the layers of the mind towards something we cannot see the bottom of. And part of us sometimes hesitates at that edge, uneasy about how deep it goes. But Europa tells us that deep does not mean cold, that dark does not mean empty, that the very bottom of the descent can be the warmest place of all. So you may let yourself go down tonight without any fear of the depth, trusting that the deeper you sink toward sleep, the warmer it becomes, that there is a hearth at the bottom of the dark, a warmth waiting at the deepest point, so that the further you drift, the more held you will be, all the way down to the warm floor of rest itself. Let us return to the surface once more, but softly now, and think about how Europa moves, its orbit, the great slow circle it traces around Jupiter. Because there is comfort even in its motion. Europa goes around Jupiter once every 3.5 days, a swift orbit by the standards of our own moon, which takes a month to circle the Earth. So Europa is always moving, always sweeping around its giant planet, and yet, from within, from the surface, that motion would not feel like rushing. It would feel, if anything, like being carried on a vast, slow carousel. The giant planet turning overhead, the sister moons wheeling past, the distant stars drifting slowly by, all of it moving together in a great, patient dance that has been turning without pause since the moons first formed. There is no lurching in it, no sudden change, only the smooth, endless turning of a body held in a stable orbit, falling forever around its planet and never falling in, held in perfect balance between the pull that would draw it down and the motion that carries it around. That balance, that endless falling that never lands, is one of the most peaceful facts in all of physics, and it holds every moon and every planet in its place. Europa is falling toward Jupiter constantly, pulled by that immense gravity, and yet it never arrives. because it is also moving sideways just fast enough that it keeps missing, curving around instead of crashing down, falling forever in a circle. It is held not by resting on anything, but by this perfect eternal falling. This balance so exact and so stable that it has lasted billions of years and will last billions more. And there is a strange comfort in the idea of a falling that never lands, a letting go that never ends in impact, only in an endless smooth curve around and around. That is how the moons are held, not gripped, not clutched, but allowed to fall forever in a gentle circle, carried by their own falling, safe precisely because they have stopped resisting the pull and simply give themselves to it, curving on and on through the patient dark. Let yourself give in to your own falling now, the way the moon gives in to its. All night you may have been resisting, in small ways, holding yourself just slightly apart from sleep, bracing against the letting go, the way we so often do without noticing. But you could simply stop. You could let yourself fall the way Europa falls, giving yourself to the pull, curving smoothly down into rest, not crashing, not landing hard, only falling and falling in an endless gentle curve toward morning. There is no floor to hit. There is no impact waiting. There is only the long, smooth curve of the night carrying you around toward the light, and the more completely you give yourself to it, the more perfectly you are held, exactly like the moon, safe because it has stopped resisting, carried because it has finally let go. Let us think for a while about how far away Europa is from any human trouble, because that distance, so frightening at first, becomes a kind of blessing when you turn it toward rest. Everything that presses on you tonight is here, on this one small world, in this one small room. Every worry, every deadline, every ache and unfinished thing, all of it is here, close, filling your night. But Europa knows nothing of any of it. Out there, 500 million miles away, turning around Jupiter in the cold and the quiet, the moon has never heard of your troubles, and never will. Its ocean has been turning its slow currents through every worry that any human being has ever had, entirely unaware of all of them, utterly untouched. There is a whole world out there, real, present, turning right now as you lie here, on which not one of your troubles has ever cast the faintest shadow. And that is not a lonely thought, but a freeing one. It means your troubles are not everywhere. It means there are vast reaches of reality, real places, real oceans, real warmth, where the things that weigh on you simply do not exist and never have. The universe is mostly free of your worries. Almost all of it, in fact, an overwhelming, nearly complete majority of everything that is entirely untroubled by anything that troubles you, turning peacefully in the dark, warm at its heart, carrying on exactly as it has for ages, indifferent in the kindest possible way. Your troubles are real, but they are small and local and young, and the great calm ocean of Europa has never once been disturbed by them, and never will be. And there is a deep permission in that, a permission to set your troubles down for the night, here in this small room, and let the rest of the vast, calm, untroubled universe hold you while you do. Let us slow the words now, and let the images grow simple and few, because you have been carried a long way tonight, and it is nearly time to let the whole subject drift out of reach. Hold. If you hold anything, just 3 things. The ice above, that great protecting shell, holding out all the cold and the sharp and the sudden, the warm sea below, endless and dark and calm, carrying you without asking anything, and the slow rhythm of it all, the tidal breath of the moon, in and out, over ages, the same rhythm as your own slow breathing now. The ice, the sea, the rhythm, that is all. You may let everything else go. The ice above you, holding, the sea below you, carrying, the rhythm within you, breathing, the ice, the sea, the rhythm. And even these three you may let soften and blur together now, the ice and the sea and the rhythm melting into one warm, dark-held feeling, one sense of being carried in something vast and warm and safe, one long, slow drift through the patient dark. There is nothing left to understand. There is nothing left to picture. There is only the warm, dark water and your slow breath and the great ice holding above, and beneath all of it, the letting go, the falling that never lands, the being carried that never ends. Let us drift back, while you rest, to the long patient history of how we came to imagine this place at all. Because the story of human curiosity is itself a lullaby of sorts, a tale of people staying up late in the dark, looking, wondering, and slowly being answered. For most of the 4 centuries since Europa was first glimpsed as a moving point of light, no one imagined an ocean. The idea that a small frozen moon could hide a sea of liquid water would have seemed absurd, even impossible, to nearly everyone who studied it. So far from the sun, so cold, surely such a moon would be frozen solid all the way through. A dead ball of ice and rock, nothing more. That was the sensible expectation for a very long time, and it was only slowly, as we learned more about tides and heat and the strange things that happen when a small world is squeezed by a giant one, that a few careful minds began to wonder whether, perhaps, beneath the ice, there might be water after all. Think of how that idea must have felt the first time someone seriously entertained it. To look at a cold, pale, frozen moon, a moon everyone assumed was dead, and to think, quietly, patiently, working through the numbers, that there might be a warm sea hidden inside it, larger than all the seas of Earth. It would have seemed almost too wonderful to be true. A warmth guessed at from far away. An ocean reasoned into being before anyone could see the faintest sign of it. And then, slowly, over years, the evidence came in. The brightness, the smoothness, the young unscarred surface, the magnetic signature of salty water, the faint plumes rising off the ice, each piece of it quietly confirming what the careful minds had dared to imagine, until the hidden ocean, once an almost unbelievable guess, became one of the most confidently known facts about the outer solar system. There is something deeply reassuring in that pattern, the way patient looking is rewarded, the way a warmth guessed at in the dark turns out to be real. It is a little like the faith you can have in sleep itself. Right now, in the dark, sleep may feel far off, hidden, hard to believe in. The way the ocean of Europa once seemed impossible to the people staring up at its cold surface. But it is there, warm and real, beneath the surface of this restless waking mind, waiting. And the more patiently you let yourself drift toward it, the more surely it will reveal itself, exactly as the hidden ocean revealed itself to the patient watchers, slowly, quietly. And then all at once and beyond doubt, you do not have to force it. You have only to keep drifting toward it in the dark, trusting the warmth is there beneath the cold surface, the way it always was, the way it always is. Let us think of all the people, across all those centuries, who looked up at Jupiter on a cold, clear night and saw its little moons and felt some quiet stirring of wonder. The astronomer, with his small tube of glass on those winter evenings 400 years ago. The later watchers with their finer instruments, measuring, wondering. The scientists of our own age, staring at the first close pictures, feeling the abstract point of light become a real and present world. And all the ordinary people, too, in between, who simply looked up on a clear night and found the bright planet and felt, without knowing any of the science, that there was something out there worth wondering about. You are one of them now, tonight, the latest in a long line of people who have turned their attention toward this distant moon and felt it soften something in them. You are keeping a very old kind of company, the company of everyone who has ever looked up into the dark and felt, against all reason, comforted. And that company is itself a warm thing to rest in. The thought that you are not the only one lying awake tonight, wondering at the sky, that all across the world, in this hour and every hour, there are others doing exactly what you are doing, letting their minds drift out toward the quiet, enormous universe and finding in its vastness not terror but a strange peace. Others in other rooms, in other cities, under other ceilings, all of you drifting on the same slow current toward the same soft place, all of you carried by the same patient dark. You are alone in your room perhaps, but you are not alone in this. The whole quiet company of the wakeful and the wondering is with you, drifting alongside you, all of you moving together toward morning, all of you held in the same great warm dark. Let us wander now to a thought about permanence, about how little Europa changes, because a world that barely changes is a restful world to hold in mind. Almost everything in our own lives is in motion, shifting, aging, arriving and departing, so that we rarely feel the ground stay still beneath us for long. But Europa is very nearly the same tonight as it was 1,000,000 years ago, and 1,000,000 years before that, and will be 1,000,000 years from now. The same ice, the same cracks, deepening so slowly you could watch for a human lifetime and see almost nothing move. The same sea, turning the same slow currents, the same giant planet overhead, hanging in the same place in the sky. If you could stand on Europa's surface for 1,000 years, you would see almost nothing happen. Only the giant planet turning through its bands, the sister moons wheeling past, the stars drifting slowly by, and the ice beneath your feet holding perfectly, patiently still. There is a deep rest in things that hold still. When the mind is tired and the day has been full of change, there is a particular comfort in turning towards something that has stayed the same for ages and will stay the same for ages more. Something you can lean your weary attention against and trust not to shift. Europa is such a thing. It has been quietly holding its shape, keeping its ocean warm, tracing its patient orbit since long before you were born, and it will go on doing exactly that long after tonight is forgotten. You can set your tired mind against that permanence like setting your back against an old stone wall that has stood for centuries, feeling how it does not move, how it takes your weight without shifting, how it has held far heavier things than you for far longer, and will go on holding. Lean on Europa's permanence tonight. Let it hold your weight. It will not move. Let us think, too, about how gently light behaves out there, in the thin, distant sunlight of Jupiter's realm. Because even the light is soft so far from the sun. Here on Earth, close to the sun, the light can be harsh, bright, glaring, a light that makes us squint and turn away. But out at Europa, the sun is only a very bright star, and its light arrives thin and pale and gentle, casting soft, long shadows across the ice, never harsh, never glaring. A light already dimmed by the enormous distance to something like a permanent soft evening. The whole surface of Europa rests in a kind of perpetual twilight, the low soft light of a sun grown small and distant, a light that would never make you squint, a light you could look toward without turning away, the tender light of a long, slow dusk that never quite becomes night and never quite becomes day. Imagine standing on that ice in that soft, distant light, the giant planet glowing overhead, the pale ground stretching away under a light like the last hour before sunset stretched out forever. It is a light made for rest, a light with all the harshness taken out of it by 500 million miles of dark, a light that only soothes and never startles. Let that soft, far light fall over your own closed eyes now, the low, tender twilight of the outer solar system, the light of a small, distant sun, dimmed and gentled and made kind by the great distance, falling across the ice and across your resting face alike, asking nothing, only resting there, soft and pale and low, the light of the quietest evening in the solar system. Let us gather ourselves now, softly, for we have wandered a long and warm way tonight, out to a distant moon and down beneath its ice and into its hidden sea, and it is nearly time to let the whole journey drift away behind us like a shore seen from a boat that is carrying us gently out to sleep. But before we let it go entirely, let us rest once more in the warmth of everything we found, because it turned out to be so much warmer than we feared. We came looking for the most terrifying moon, and we found instead the most sheltered sea in all the solar system. We came braced for cold and dark and danger, and we found warmth and rest and a great patient ocean that has never known a storm. We came expecting terror, and we found, waiting beneath all of it, only a vast quiet held warmth, patient beyond patience, harming no one, needing nothing, cradling its hidden sea in the dark, the way you are cradled in the dark tonight. Let us think, before that last descent, about how young our knowing of Europa still is, and how much remains hidden, because there is a soft comfort even in the things we do not yet know. For all that we have learned, we have never seen beneath the ice with our own instruments, never dipped anything into that sea, never watched its currents turn or measured the true warmth of its floor. Almost everything we believe about the ocean is reasoned, inferred, sensed from far away, a careful guess grown confident, but a guess still. The sea itself, the real water, remains entirely unseen, a mystery held whole beneath the ice, keeping its secrets as it has kept them for billions of years. And that is not a frustration, but a kind of gift, a reminder that the universe still holds warm hidden things we have not yet uncovered, that there is more waiting out there in the dark than we have found, that the story is not finished and the deepest chambers are not yet opened. There is room to rest in the unknown when the unknown is warm. So much of our fear of not knowing comes from imagining that what we cannot see must be threatening, must be waiting to harm us, must be the crouched shape in the dark. But Europa teaches the opposite, that what we cannot see may be the warmest thing of all, a sheltered sea, a hidden hearth, a whole ocean of quiet possibility held safe beneath the ice, patient, unhurried, harming no one. You do not need to know everything tonight. You do not need to have solved or seen or settled anything. You may let the unknown stay unknown, warm and vast and untroubling, the way the ocean stays unseen beneath its shell, and you may rest inside your own, not knowing as inside a warm, dark room, trusting trusting that what you cannot see is not waiting to harm you, but only waiting, quietly, to be gentle with you in its own good time. Let us take one last slow descent, the gentlest of all, and this time we will not come back up, we will simply sink and stay, and let the sinking become sleep. Feel yourself at the pale bright surface one final time. In the soft far twilight, the giant planet glowing overhead, the ice smooth and quiet beneath you. And now let go and begin to sink down through the deep blue glow of the ice, slower than before, so slowly you can barely tell you are moving, down through the veins of salt and mineral, down through the softening layers, down toward the warm sea waiting below. There is no hurry in this descent at all. You have all night. You have all the time there has ever been. Sink the way a feather sinks through still water, turning softly, in no hurry to arrive. Down through the last of the ice now, and out into the open sea, into the warm dark water that takes you up at once and holds you on every side. And this time you do not hang near the top, and you do not stay in the middle, you simply keep sinking, softly, deeper and deeper into the warm dark. And the deeper you go, the warmer it becomes, and the warmer it becomes, the more completely you let go, until you can no longer tell where the water ends, and you begin, until the warm dark sea and your own warm dark rest have become the same thing, one endless held warmth with no edges anywhere, carrying you down and down toward the hearth-warm floor of sleep. And you need not reach the bottom. You need not arrive anywhere at all. You may simply drift down through the warm dark forever, carried, weightless, held, asked for nothing, the ice holding safe above you, the warm sea cradling you below, the slow tidal rhythm breathing through it all, and your own slow breath breathing with it, in and out, low and easy, deeper and slower and warmer with every breath, sinking, drifting, carried, held, down into the warm dark where nothing can reach you and nothing is required of you, and there is only the letting go, only the being carried, only the warm and endless dark of rest. As you drift there, let one last quiet thought move through you about how strange and lovely it is that we can know a place we have never touched. No human hand has ever felt Europa's ice. No human eye has ever seen its ocean. And yet we know it is there, warm and vast and real, known not by touching but by patient reasoning across the enormous dark, by measuring the way it bends a magnetic field and reflects a distant light and cracks its own surface in slow curving lines. We reached that hidden sea with nothing but attention, with nothing but the patient turning of careful minds over many years, and we found it, warm and waiting, without ever laying a finger on it. There is something tender in that, the way love can know a thing it cannot reach, the way you can hold a warmth in your mind for someone far away and feel it as real as if they were beside you. We hold Europa's ocean that way, warm in our knowing though we have never touched it, and it holds its warmth faithfully in return, whether or not anyone is thinking of it at all. And let one last image settle over you before the words begin to fade. The whole moon seen from far off, small and pale and bright against the dark, turning its slow patient turn, and hidden inside it, invisible from outside, the warm sea, glowing in the mind though not to the eye, a warmth you cannot see but know is there. That is how the warmest things so often are, hidden inside a surface that shows nothing of them, kept safe in the dark where no glance can reach. The moon shows the world only its cold, bright face, and keeps its whole warm ocean secret, and is none the poorer for it, for the warmth is still there, whole and safe and endless, needing no one to see it, in order to keep being warm. You may keep your own warmth that way tonight, hidden and safe beneath your own quiet surface, glowing on in the dark where nothing can reach it, faithful and endless, and asking to be seen by no one, simply warm, simply there, simply held. So let the whole moon grow small again now, and smaller, receding softly into the dark the way a lit window recedes as a train carries you on into the night, still glowing, still warm, but farther now and farther, until it is only a pale point of light among the countless other pale points. And then not even that, only the memory of a warmth out there in the dark, only the faint knowledge that somewhere, far off, a hidden sea is turning its slow warm currents beneath the ice, carrying on without you, as it always has, as it always will, while you let it go, and let the dark close softly over it, and turn at last fully toward your own warm rest. Tonight has been about Europa, the small pale moon of ice that people call the most terrifying, and about how every terror it holds turned quietly, in our hands, into warmth. Tonight has been about the shell of ice, hard and cold and protecting, and the vast hidden ocean beneath it, warm and dark and calm, larger than all the seas of Earth. Tonight has been about the patient watchers who found this moon 400 years ago, and the patient travelers we are sending to it now. About the tidal warmth that keeps its sea alive, about the soft far twilight and the stormless water and the warm hearths on the deepest floor. Tonight has been about the hidden ocean beneath the ice, and about how a hidden depth is not a danger, but a shelter, not a terror, but a warmth, not a place to drown, but a place to be carried. And none of it needs anything from you now. The moon will turn without you. The ocean will drift without you. The ice will hold, the warmth will gather, the slow tides will breathe in and out across the ages, all of it without the smallest effort on your part. None of this needs anything from you tonight. Not your attention, not your understanding, not your worry, not your care. You may set all of it down. You may set everything down. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to hold, nothing left to be. There is only the warm, dark water, and your slow breath, and the letting go. The moon will turn without you. The moon will turn without you. The moon will turn without you, and you may rest. The ocean will carry on without you. The ocean will carry on without you. The ocean will carry on without you, warm and calm and endless in the dark. And you are held. You are held. You are held, exactly as the sea is held beneath the ice, exactly as the moon is held in its slow orbit, exactly as everything warm is held safe in the great patient dark. When this narration ends, there may be another quiet exploration waiting on the screen, another slow journey out into the calm, enormous universe, ready to begin whenever it will. You do not need to reach for it, or choose it, or do anything at all. If it begins on its own, let it begin on its own, and let its voice become just another soft current in the warm dark, carrying you onward, deeper into rest, needing nothing from you but to drift. Let it begin on its own, and let it carry you, the way the sea carries the moon, the way the dark carries the sea. And if some small part of you is still turning, still awake enough to wonder, here is one soft question to set adrift on the warm, dark water as you go. If you could float for one night in the hidden sea of Europa, held warm beneath all that ice, carried by those slow, ancient currents, what is the one worry you would finally let sink out of your hands and leave behind on the cold, bright surface, unable to follow you down? You do not have to answer. You do not have to think about it at all. Just let the question drift beside you, unanswered, as you sink into the warm dark, and let it too grow heavy and slow and distant until it settles somewhere far below and is gone. And now let everything soften. Let the moon dissolve, and the ocean dissolve, and the ice dissolve, and the words dissolve, until there is nothing left but the warm dark and your slow breath and the deep letting go. Let your body grow heavy and warm, sinking into whatever holds you, taken up completely, asked for nothing. Let your breath grow slow and low and easy, in and out, like the faint tide of a sea that has never known a storm. You are carried. You are held. You are warm in the deep dark, sheltered beneath the ice, cradled by the patient sea. And there is nowhere you need to be and nothing you need to do, and no way at all to fall. Drift now. Sink now. Let go now, all the way down into the warm and endless dark. Rest well, traveler, out here in the quiet, enormous dark, warm beneath the ice of your own closing eyes. The sea will carry you the rest of the way. Sleep well.